There is one thing you can do that will make a man think about you when he's supposed to be working, when he's lying in bed at night, when he's with other people, and it has nothing to do with being prettier, funnier, or more interesting than anyone else. Stay with me. I'm going to tell you something that might sound controversial. The women who men become obsessed with, the ones they can't stop thinking about, the ones they chase, commit to, and never want to let go of, they're not doing what you think they're doing. They're not trying harder, they're not being perfect, they're not always available. In fact, they're doing something that feels completely counterintuitive. And once you understand this, once you really get this at a deep level, your entire dynamic with men will change. I've coached thousands of women. I've worked with men in private sessions where they tell me things they'd never admit publicly. And what I'm about to share with you is the pattern I see over and over again. The pattern that separates the woman he's casually dating from the woman he becomes addicted to. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah came to one of my retreats last year. Beautiful woman, successful, kind. She'd been dating this guy, let's call him James, for about 4 months, and she was doing everything quote unquote right. She was supportive. She was always there when he needed her. She'd rearrange her schedule to see him. She'd text him good morning. She'd make sure he knew she was interested, and you know what was happening. He was pulling away, slowly at first, then noticeably. The texts got shorter, the plans got more last minute. He was treating her like an option, and Sarah couldn't figure out why. She kept thinking, what am I doing wrong? Should I be sexier, funnier, more mysterious? Here's what I told her. Sarah, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just doing everything, and that's the problem. See, Sarah had made herself so available, so accommodating, so easy, that James had lost something crucial. He'd lost the chase. He'd lost the uncertainty. He'd lost the feeling that he might lose her. 3 weeks after our conversation, Sarah made one shift, just one, and James went from lukewarm to completely hooked. I'll tell you exactly what she did. But first, you need to understand the psychology behind why this works. Here's what most people get wrong about attraction. They think attraction is about being wanted. It's not. Attraction is about wanting. Let me say that again because this is everything. Attraction is not about being wanted. It's about wanting. When a man wants you, when he's in a state of pursuit, when he's wondering about you, thinking about you, trying to figure you out, that's when the addiction forms. That's when the neural pathways in his brain start firing in a way that connects you with excitement, with challenge, with reward. There's a concept in psychology called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes gambling addictive. You don't win every time. If you won every time, it would get boring. But when you win sometimes unpredictably, your brain gets flooded with dopamine. You keep coming back. You keep pulling that lever. You become obsessed with the possibility. Now, I'm not saying turn yourself into a slot machine. I'm not saying play games, but I am saying this. When you're always available, always predictable, always giving him exactly what he wants exactly when he wants it, you're removing the element that creates addiction. You're removing the wanting, and here's the deeper truth. Men don't just want to be with a woman they like. They want to be with a woman they're afraid of losing, not afraid in a toxic way, afraid in a way that makes them value you, afraid in a way that makes them step up. Afraid in a way that makes them realize, if I don't treat this woman right, if I don't prioritize her, if I don't show up for her, she's going to walk away and find someone who will. So what did Sarah do? She stopped being so available, but not in a petty way, not in a game-playing way. She just started prioritizing her own life again. When James would text her at 9 p.m. asking if she wanted to come over, instead of dropping everything and saying yes, she'd say, I've got plans tonight, but I'm free Thursday if you want to take me to dinner. When he'd go days without reaching out and then pop back up like nothing happened instead of just accepting it, She'd say, "Hey, I like spending time with you, but I need consistency. If you're not in a place to offer that, no hard feelings, but I'm looking for something real." She started saying no, not to everything, but to the things that didn't serve her, to the last-minute plans, to the late-night booty calls, to the situationships that were going nowhere. And you know what happened. James panicked, not immediately. First, he tested her. He pulled back a little more to see if she'd chase. She didn't. Then he started reaching out more, started making real plans, started asking her about her life, started showing up. Why? Because suddenly Sarah became a challenge again. Suddenly there was a possibility he could lose her. Suddenly she wasn't a sure thing, and that uncertainty, that possibility of loss, it triggered something primal in him. The need to win her over, the need to prove himself, the need to secure her. Now, here's where this gets really important. The secret to becoming the woman he's addicted to isn't about withholding. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about actually being hard to get. There's a massive difference. Playing hard to get is manipulation. It's pretending you're busy when you're not. It's ignoring his texts to create artificial distance. It's a game, and men can sense it. Being hard to get is different. It means you actually have a life that fulfills you. You have standards, you have boundaries, you have things you're not willing to compromise on. And you're willing to walk away from anything that doesn't meet those standards, no matter how much you like him. Let me give you an example. Playing hard to get is ignoring his text for 3 hours even though you saw it immediately, just to seem busy. Being hard to get is actually being at a yoga class or dinner with friends or working on a project you care about and responding when you're done because you're not sitting around waiting for his messages. You see the difference. One is a tactic, the other is a lifestyle, and men can tell, they can feel it. When you're genuinely busy living a life you love, when you're genuinely selective about who you give your time to, when you're genuinely willing to walk away from anything less than you deserve, it creates a magnetic pull. Because you're not trying to get him addicted, you're just being someone who's already whole, and wholeness is attractive, desperation is not. So let me break this down into a framework you can actually use. Step 1, get a life that excites you more than he does. I'm serious. If he's the most exciting thing in your life, you're in trouble, because then you'll be willing to accept anything just to keep that excitement. But if you've got friendships that light you up, hobbies that challenge you, goals that drive you, a career that fulfills you, suddenly he's not your everything. He's an addition, and that changes the entire power dynamic. Step 2, have standards and communicate them clearly. This doesn't mean being difficult. It means knowing what you want and being willing to say it. If you want a relationship, say it. If you need consistency, say it. If something doesn't feel good, say it. The woman a man becomes addicted to is not the woman who accepts everything. It's the woman who knows her worth and isn't afraid to communicate it. Here's an example. He texts you at 10 p.m. Hey, you up? You could respond, yeah, what's up? Or you could respond, I am, but I'm not really looking for something casual. If you want to take me out properly, I'd love that. See, the second response doesn't shut him down, but it sets a standard. It tells him, I'm interested, but not at any cost. Step 3, create space for him to chase you. This is the part most women mess up. They think chasing means doing more. It doesn't. It means doing less. Stop initiating all the time. Stop being the one who always reaches out first. Stop being the one who always makes plans. Pull back just enough that he has to step forward. And if he doesn't, if he's comfortable letting you do all the work, then you have your answer. He's not the guy, because the right man, the man who's serious about you, he'll step up when you create the space for him to do so. Step 4, Be willing to walk away. This is the most powerful thing you can do, and I don't mean threaten to walk away. I mean genuinely be willing to do it, because when you're truly okay with losing him, if he's not treating you right, that's when you stop being desperate. That's when you stop tolerating bad behavior. That's when you start attracting the kind of man who's worthy of you. Now, let me tell you something that might be hard to hear. You cannot make a man who doesn't want a relationship suddenly want one. You cannot make a man who's emotionally unavailable suddenly open up. You cannot make a man who's not ready suddenly be ready. What you can do is be the kind of woman that a man who is ready, who is available, who is looking for something real, becomes obsessed with. And that woman is not perfect. She's not playing games. She's not trying to be someone she's not. She's just someone who knows her value and lives accordingly. I'll tell you what happened with Sarah. 3 months after she made that shift, James asked her to be his girlfriend. 6 months after that, they moved in together, and a year after that, he proposed, and you know what he said to her when he proposed? He said, "You're the first woman who ever made me feel like I had to earn you, like I could lose you if I didn't step up, and that made me want to be a better man. That's the power of this." When you stop being so available, so accommodating, so easy to take for granted, you don't just change how he sees you, you change how he sees himself. You inspire him to rise, because men don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with the woman who makes them want to be better. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at your current situation, whether you're single, dating, or in a relationship, and ask yourself, am I being too available? Am I accepting less than I deserve? Am I making it too easy for him to take me for granted? And if the answer is yes, I want you to make one change, just one. Maybe it's saying no to a late night text. Maybe it's making plans with friends instead of keeping your weekend open just in case he wants to see you. Maybe it's having a conversation about what you actually want instead of just going along with whatever he offers. One shift, that's all it takes to start changing the dynamic, because the woman he becomes addicted to isn't the woman who needs him. It's the woman who wants him but doesn't need him, the woman who would love to have him in her life but is perfectly fine without him. The woman who has standards and isn't afraid to enforce them. That's who you need to become, not for him, for you, because when you become that woman, the right man won't be able to stay away. Look, I know this stuff isn't easy. I know it's scary to pull back when you really like someone. I know it feels risky to have standards when you're afraid of losing him, but here's what I've learned after years of doing this work. The only thing riskier than setting standards is not having any. The only thing scarier than possibly losing him is definitely losing yourself. So be the woman who knows her worth. Be the woman who lives a life she loves. Be the woman who's willing to walk away from anything that doesn't serve her. And watch what happens. Watch how the right man shows up. Watch how he chases. Watch how he steps up. Watch how he becomes addicted not because you played games, but because you became someone worth being addicted to. If this resonated with you, leave a comment below and let me know what shift you're going to make. And if you want more content like this, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.